Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys on a completely different type of flight today. I'm going on a helicopter flight today with Stuart, our helicopter pilot, and we've got a mission today. So we're heading out to a place called Masa, about an hour flight over these mountains behind me, and we're going to be bringing out a solar tech specialist to be able to fix the solar panel stuff for our missionary. Let's get loaded. I don't think we have any cargo at all today. It's just myself, the tech specialist, and Stuart. So I think we're about ready to go. Now, Stuart, is the R66 the exact same frame and everything as the R44, or is it actually a little bit bigger?
It's a little different, cabin, and there's a cargo configuration. Yeah.
Does it have more cargo or about the same?
I think it's a little more, but I've never flown or actually even seen the 44. So.
Oh, okay. And what's the weight capacity? Like if we were to compare this to the Kodiak, like how much on average? I mean, obviously it's different with fuel and stuff like that, but what's your average ability to get out of here with cargo?
I'm usually leaving here with 3 to 350 kgs.
Okay, so almost about half of what we could probably do for most of our flights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the average, what we would do on most of our flights is anywhere from maybe 650 to all the way up to maybe 850 as a normal. I mean, probably closer to 800 in the Kodiak. Well, I know very, very little about helicopter flying, so I'm gonna do my best to ask Stuart along the way some technical stuff and how he flies the helicopter. He used to fly in the military, flying Black Hawks for many years. So hopefully he can fill us in on some of the differences, things like that, flying a helicopter here in Papua New Guinea.
Goroka Tower, November, Tango Mike, taxi to Masa, 3 POB.
November, Tango Mike Tower, good morning. Directly taxi lineup 35 right, QNH 1022, wind license variable.
Well, taxi lineup 35 right with 1022, November, Tango Mike.
Such a different feeling just sitting here this slow.
I feel wrong.
This feels very abnormal.
November, Tango Mike, ready for takeoff.
November, Tango Mike 35 right, clear for takeoff.
35 right, clear for takeoff, November, Tango Mike.
Now on takeoff, you're not really looking at knots. What are you looking at to know when to start transitioning?
Depends how much power I've got. So I'm in the yellow for torque, and I got to stay below 65 if I want to use that extra power. I think Osceola is open. Looks like it's open over the top of everything, but
Yeah, it does. Goroka also looks pretty open.
yeah.
So at what point do you start transitioning out of the yellow and then speeding up on your airspeed then?
I usually try and get close to gap level. So I'll get to around 7,000. Yeah, you can see the top of the mountain. It also depends on how busy, how many clouds and stuff.
Okay.
I don't want to be, dodging clouds, talking on the radio, getting a departure call, and trying to manage, airspeed and that.
So are those really the only two that you're really looking at for the most part?
Yeah, right now. Our engines are healthy enough where they're usually out of that 5-minute limit. It's the torque that's pretty much the indicator that we're Goroka Tower, November, Tango Mike, departed at 14, tracking 329, not above 8,000, circuit Masa at 59.
And November, Tango Mike, little above 8,000, 15, contact Moresby on 120.1 or 8819.
15 miles, contact Moresby 120.1, 8819er for HF.
I think the biggest difference that I see right off the bat is just how much visibility you have, like kind of below you and everything. It just feels like so much more immersive into, I mean, because we're still only going 90, so I could do 90 in my plane, but it just feels different because it's Like you can see all down and around you.
Yeah.
Now, as you approach gaps, what is something that you're thinking about? I mean, today it's obviously really clear out, but what are some thoughts going through your head as you do approach a gap?
I obviously want to make sure that if I go through that I have somewhere to go. So if it's questionable, I'll spend some time on the approach up to the gap, kind of doing some S-type turns, looking at the gap from different angles. Looking at it from the left, from the right, to see how wide it is and what I'm actually looking at on the other side. I want to give myself plenty of room to turn around if I don't like what I see.
Now, do winds play any factor in a helicopter as you're approaching gaps?
Yeah, totally. If I have to abort, as in turn around and not go through it, I want to make sure I'm not turning into a huge tailwind, because a lot of time the wind just funnels right through this. It gets really quick, really fast.
Yeah. Almost like a Venturi effect coming through here.
Yep.
Wow, I've actually never seen the gap from this angle. It's quite wild. It's so steep.
It is pretty sheer, isn't it? Moresby 1201, November, Tango Mike.
November Tango Mike, 101, come on.
Good morning, November, Tango Mike, 15 miles north of Goroka, not above 8,000, Masa at 59.
November Tango Mike, request estimate Masa.
Estimate Masa 2259er.
Now, where is your indicated wind at? Like, does it have it on here?
Yeah, right now it actually is wind calm.
Oh, okay.
There you go, air speed, ground speed. Windy was showing basically a tunnel coming down the valley, kind of like straight out. So I would expect once we get out into the main valley, we'll pick up some pretty good wind.
Now on Alpha, it doesn't have as nice of avionics in it.
No, it's not near as big of a display.
What are your thoughts on the bigger display as opposed to the smaller ones?
I love the big display, because here's what it could do. I can look at fuel. I can go fuel, flight plan. I can toggle that. Have everything I need there. I can get navigation or my HSI and all that.
And the new ones, they didn't actually, like the newest one, Alpha doesn't have as nice of a screen, but the newest one that they're planning on getting, are they going with the same setup, or are they
they're going with the Alpha, the small screen setup.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I don't know, it costs more money to have this big one. It's a little bit heavier, but the money's the main thing. And I mean, the Blackhawk's, console comes out here. Like it's.
Oh yeah.
When I would do an approach, I would be like, you can't even see where you're landing to.
Like the 206, where you're just peeking over.
Yeah, like you're actually looking out the side. You pick something.
Okay.
That you're aiming toward on the side. Because on a good approach, your nose is up that high, and yeah, even when you're just hovering around, you're at like 3 or 4 degrees nose up. Like it's always tail down. Yeah.
So the visibility is about 1,000 times better in this.
It's way better in this. So to me, even the big console, it's like, oh, that's nothing,
Yeah.
I would much rather have that. It's just, it saves time in heads down time in the cockpit going through menus. To me, that's worth it.
Yep. Now transitioning from a bigger helicopter to this thing, was that difficult, or did it just take time?
I thought it was difficult. I flew the Blackhawk. That's the only thing I flew.
Yeah. So and that's fairly easy.
And yeah, it's very stable. This is a lot squirrelier. It's a lot more susceptible to gusts and just everything. Depending on how you load, what loading I've got, this thing picks up different. It'll be the toes of the skids will come off last if I'm really front loaded, or if I'm light, then the back left, I'll come off that last. Like it's always different.
Okay.
And that's tricky. That's something I'm still getting used to, trying to think about how am I loaded. Okay, even if I'm on a totally flat surface, it's still going to pick up different each time.
What kind of environment did you fly the Blackhawk in?
I flew in Afghanistan. I flew in Korea.
Is it mountainous? Was it mountainous like
mountainous,
this?
Yeah, mountainous. So I flew in desert. I flew in mountains. I flew in woods. What's unique about here is that you've got the combination of big mountains, tropical, weather systems, just lots of moisture, and that adds a whole new dynamic.
Yeah, it changes probably a little bit quicker here than it does in the desert.
Oh yeah.
Now the location that we're going out to today, we've got some missionaries out there. How many families have or do live out there? Or there's none out there right this minute.
Just one family, and they're itinerant. They don't live there full time. So
okay.
Right now they're communicating with their elders on through the internet. So they got to fix the solar system so that they can keep discipling and translating and all that.
It's crazy how some of these places, like there's a little village right down here in the middle of like the thick jungle, and there's only maybe like 12 houses right there, but yeah, you wonder what dictates where they build their village and how long do they live in this one specific location before potentially moving to another. And it's crazy to think PNG has over 800 different languages in a small area about the size of California. So like if you split up California, I mean it's not, but every little town, every little, I mean, it's just like every maybe 5 miles or so you've got potentially another language or a different dialect of it.
I think what dictates where they live and where they move is sources of food.
Yeah.
Access to services. That's what dictates where they go for the most part. School, transportation. Like here they have sack that they make out of the
sago trees.
The sago trees. So if they use all their sagos, then they have to, I guess they probably have to move a little bit. I don't know.
It's crazy. You can see like a road that they've cut out through the jungle.
Yeah, I think it's an old logging road. You got a couple of them in parallel going off pretty deep interior.
You fly up into New Britain, there's logging roads all over.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, they do look like logging roads. They're kind of just all random, but it does look like maybe they've been grown over for 10 years or something. Probably realistically like 2 years.
Yeah.
Doesn't take long for the jungle to reclaim.
No, it does not.
Orsby 8819, November Tango Mike, Circuit, Masa, cancel SAR.
November Tango Mike and Masa, SAR, what's terminated?
November Tango Mike. My fuel drums as step ladders to build that house. So
oh yeah.
I landed, I was like, where's all my fuel? Like, okay guys.
Alright, well, it looks like it might just be a blown fuse or something like that. So let's head in the house and talk to Josh. When are you gonna get that? When are you gonna get that? What'd you find out, Josh?
All the fuses were blown.
All of them?
Yeah, all display fuse. And cook pennies.
So why do you think they were burnt?
They tried using a saw, a circular saw. Yeah. Drew too many amps and blew the fuses.
All right.
This is our older system that can only handle 60 amps per battery discharge.
Uh-huh.
Our newer systems can do 100 amps per battery discharge.
So this house here is actually a different work from where the missionaries originally started. Like on the way out here, Josh was saying that the missionaries actually moved to this location because all the people in the village left that area to go to a new area. The missionaries' kids are grown now, so it's basically like a studio house, and they live back in the States, but they need to be able to communicate via Wi-Fi and satellite internet, things like that, with the church believers here. So that's why we're fixing this today. But let's walk around real quick on the ground because it looks like it's a pretty easy fix just being a fuse. Morning, Yupla.
Morning.
I'm alright, but I'm here just round him, just kiss him, sorry, little place, bro, Yupla.
Okay.
Alright. Looks like they're building a new house here. So the reason they build all these houses up on stilts is because the river, I mean, it's just right over there. It floods, and I'm sure that the water comes up right underneath their houses. Pretty common at a lot of these places that are right on the river. During rainy season, the water can change up to like 12 feet. So a lot of our airstrips that are right next to the water also flood, and usually takes about a week to dry out. Okay, so all these skinny trees right here, these are all buai trees. You can go look that up online if you don't know what that is. And then these other ones here are all coconut trees. And like Stuart was saying on the way out here, is you can tell where they have lived at a different location by looking for these types of trees. These two types specifically, the coconut palms as well as the buai palms. Because although they do grow here, I guess they're not indigenous to this area. But they have a lot of banana trees. That's what all these are out here. And then taro right here. That's what these big, huge leaf plants are. So believe it or not, this actually is garden area right here, even though it looks like it's just completely overgrown. There's a lot of food in here. This la building in one in church, huh? Okay. You plaza kai sego planti?
Yeah.
Mino sabe lo one in diwa and loco sem sego.
Planting backside of this land.
Oh, backside of this house. Okay, here we go. Yeah. These ones that come up, they're just a palm, but they have a bunch of them coming up. Now, lo rausim this la sego take how much time? One blood day or?
One blood day.
One blood day, huh?
Then now we don't plus kai kai.
Oh, okay. Start low morning by afternoon time you kissing kai kai.
One day kai kai.
Okay, one day kai kai. Okay. All right. Yep. Now time water come tight, come on top lo hamas. Like by Oh, okay. Oh, moyeda. Okay. Now you say kai one him kai. Sego, banana, taro, yam, okay. Moyeto
banana, taro, yam, saksak.
Sego na saksak one kind na. You got three ways to walk him sego, huh?
Yeah. Plenty way.
Oh, plenty way.
Walk him cake.
Okay.
Okay, walk him kramapim cookie lo fire.
Okay.
Okay, kramapim puti lo pot na boil him.
Oh, all right. Oh, you got
pineapple.
All right. Okay.
Melon, cucumber.
Plenty something, huh? Nice, yeah. Now, how about you rausim this la buai?
Buai also climb. Benim na climb guanta.
Ayo.
Na embasta antap na ba benim climb guanta na rausim.
Buai come down time and go on top or?
No. Yeah, so beni di buai guanta.
Okay.
Se climb musim solo niya.
Ayo. That's a long way up. So they just climb up these buai trees, which are, let's see, I don't know, probably over 40 feet, probably 50 feet up there at least almost. I was asking if they kind of bend over, but she said they don't really too much, so.
Also syrup na try na. Olim so na. Making him straight na. One plus olim rope. Na one plus saklay.
Oh.
Na bas token ba gosem ba olim rope na.
Oh, suppose him start low, put down and by supporting one time this little rope. Okay. All right, that makes more sense. So yeah, when they climb up, they're supporting it with the rope so that if it starts bending one way, they can pull it back the other way and keep it kind of straight on the way up. Well, let's take a quick look in here. This is the church that she was saying. here. And you guys can see just photos all the way around, which is just foundational Bible teaching, which is the method that the organization I work with, Ethnos 360, does. So basically they're starting at the beginning of the Bible and then working all the way through chronologically through the life of Christ. It's nice and cool in here with having this extra area for the wind to come out, for sure. Morning.
Morning. So Leslie, he's the carpenter.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Puro Bruni. People have been working one time na sanapin the house.
I was a bit confused why this house had steel stilts when everything else wasn't.
Yeah. Well, they have a lot of problems with rot and termites, and they just wanted it to last, right?
Yeah. All right, here's a closer look at the sago tree that I was telling you about right here. This is where they get a lot of their food. Probably not from the ones right here, but out in the jungle. From what I understand, they cut the sago down, they split it open, and then it's just a bunch of scraping the insides of it out, washing water over it. It kind of makes like a soupy slop kind of stuff, and then they can drain the water out of that. They make little like cakes or like a bread kind of, like pita bread kind of, or they can make like a soup, or they can boil it. Doesn't taste very good, but it does fill the tummy. And here is one of their really small canoes. This is not typical. They're typically bigger than this, but this would just at least carry, you know, 1 or 2 people.
Anyway, I think we're ready to go. Okay. Hindi ba losing you? No can I want it.
Too easy. I wish all projects and fixes were this quick and easy, but thanks for joining me on this different flight. Hope you guys did enjoy something a little bit different other than just flying around in the Kodiak. Get to fly around in the helicopter with Stuart and Josh. So give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy the new kind of content. I'm not going to be doing this very often because this is literally the very first time I've been able to do any flights in the R66 out to a place that we fly to. So see you guys next time.